Also from Sabine, you said, imagine a nice perfume that you would have created and give it a name we cannot forget. Okay, well, I studied perfumery for 2 years. My final perfume was called Marari, which is one of my favourite places I visited in India a few years ago. I based it on India. It had black pepper in it and cumin and obviously jasmine, lots of sandalwood as well. But I actually have a list of fragrance names that I have ideas for. You know, I've been going back and forth about it now that I kind of know how to create fragrance on a basic level. And I'll share some of them with you. Classified information, okay? Don't tell anyone. So the first one I ever thought about was calling one Submerged. I wanted it to be based on obviously the ocean, the plants you find in the ocean, seaweed, maybe kelp, if that's even a type of seaweed, I don't know. Salty, aquatic, with a really nice light floral top. I would love that to happen. That'd be really cool. I also thought about one called Rocking Chair, which would be the most amazing woody fragrance, combining so many woods, you know, kind of rare, maybe precious, or just unusual woods that you wouldn't normally find in a fragrance. I would love that. I want to also create one called Rainbird, which would be, I guess, the prettiest fragrance you could ever smell. A bird that's been in the rain. I'm thinking about a tropical bird here, a colourful bird, like a hummingbird, something like that. Kind of fruity, ethereal, light, gorgeous. And I'll give you one more because I don't want to reveal all of my secrets. My last one would be called Three Kings. I've mentioned this on YouTube before on Fragrance Views channel. I want to make a fragrance based on the 3 gifts brought to Jesus: frankincense, gold, myrrh. That would be really cool. Frankincense and myrrh would be really cool and easy to create, but the gold would be the part that would be the challenge, and it would be something wonderful, I hope, and ancient smelling. I don't know. Okay, back to the questions. So this one comes from Redhead Hun. Hello, how are you doing? What is your most coveted fragrance that you still don't have, and why is it the most coveted, and why don't you have it? My most coveted fragrance, usually it's down to cost, to be honest. A lot of the fragrances that hi Bo, how are you? A lot of the fragrances that I really, really want are usually too expensive for me to buy. But I work my magic and get them because, you know, it's my passion, as it is most of you guys that are watching, I guess. I'd like to refer back to Forest Rain by Kiehl's, but I don't think it's really fair to do that because I've never smelled it. So you can't covet a fragrance that badly that you've never smelled because, you know, blind buying is bad. So I'm going to say at the moment it's Bracken by Amouage. I smelled a sample recently. I was very cheeky and asked for lots of samples from Amouage as a YouTuber, and they sent me them. Thanks for that, Amouage. I smelled Bracken and I really love it. It's like the chypre that I've always wanted it to be, for chypres to be. It doesn't have any oak moss in it, but it's green in a much different way that I love. So the reason I don't have it is because it's £230 for the bottle, but I will have it. She will be mine. John Mathan. I always call you Jonathan, and that's really bad because your name is actually John Mathan. Is it John Mathan? I don't know how to pronounce that one. What is your favourite geranium fragrance? I don't really have one, to be honest. I love geranium. I think it's the most sexy rose. It's like rose on crack. It's the rose typically for men. I mean, when you find geranium in a fragrance, it's usually in a man's blend. But I don't really have a favourite geranium fragrance. I love the smell of it, but I don't seek that type of fragrance out. There is Geranium Pour Monsieur by Frederic Malle, which I haven't smelled, but I really want to. Someone just dropped something on the floor. Thin walls and ceilings in London, guys. Don't ever move here. This one comes from David TV. If you can have one fragrance and only one fragrance the rest of your life, what would it be? That's such a horrible question to ask somebody that loves perfume. That's like saying, what's your favourite song? What's your favourite film? But if I had to choose, it would undoubtedly be Samsara by Geranium. It's the one. It's the one that I never get bored of. It's the one that never fails to make me swoon when I smell it. Whenever I wear it, I feel empowered. I feel kind of connected to it. It's got a lot of memories for me as well, but it just never gets old. If that's like a desert island question, I would take Samsara with me, definitely. The next question comes from Naflatem 72, I think. It says, what fragrance have you ever bought sight, unseen or unsniffed and loved? Wow, loads. I mean, up until recently, I used to blind buy all the time, but I don't recommend it at all. I think if you're going to try and hone your fragrance collection, it's really easy to get carried away and blind buy stuff that you like the sound of, or that looks good on paper, or has a really pretty bottle and stuff like that. My most successful one though is Boudoir by Vivienne Westwood. I had never smelled it before. My friend Chris said that he wears it as his signature, and when I bought it I really loved it. It's like a honey type rose, slightly dirty fragrance with a really cool bottle. I blind bought it and I loved it, and I loved it that much that I eventually ended up giving it to him because, you know, it's his signature, so he can have it. I wore it a few times and I loved it, but he can have it. Veronica Shivers. Hi, I'd love to see a review of Etat Libre d'Orange, Noël au Balcon, or for Electrician. Okay, I will try. I only have one of those. I have the Noël au Balcon one, which I always think says bacon, which is probably why I haven't reviewed it as yet, because it sounds like it's got bacon in it. But I have that one, so I guess I'll kind of try and push it to the front. Let me make a note. This one comes from Anna Free. What's your favourite vanilla fragrance? And did you find a replacement for Dior Addict original fragrance? Why did I just say Angel? I don't know. Favourite vanilla fragrance? I think I'm going to have to say the guru type goddess of all vanilla fragrances, which is Shalimar by Geranium. I really hate saying that name on camera. I mean, there are so many different types, you know. You've got your kind of ice creamy ones and your full-on vanillas, and then you've got the ones where vanilla's subtle. I'm going to say Shalimar because I think it's one of the greatest fragrances ever made, and while it's not totally vanilla-y, it's got a bit of an animalic edge and a bit of citrus, and it's kind of like fluffy, cloudy. So Shalimar, I think, would be my choice. Did you find a replacement for Dior Addict Original? I'm not sure that I was looking for a replacement. Unless you're talking about reformulations. I mean, I did want to try the original formula of Addict, but I did recently buy the new formula, which I'm totally happy with. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Brace Raid, have you ever reviewed the original Poison from Dior? No, I haven't actually. I've never had it in my possession. The reason I haven't reviewed it, and this is actually one of the most popular requests I've ever had, is the original Poison. I appreciate it wholeheartedly. I've just never owned it. So I will review it, I will. Somebody send me some. Look at me being brazen. Send me some, okay? We're coming towards the end. This one comes from Sue Shine. Hello, Sue. I speak to you all the time. You said, hi, just wanted to know how your own perfume creation is coming along. Well, I completed my course a year ago in February. Last year, 2016. I finished my course just before I went to New Zealand last year. It was the most amazing thing that happened because I finished my course and my perfume that I made passed. It passed everything on a technical level. My tutor said that not only does it pass, it is a great fragrance, which was amazing to me. I was over the moon. Yeah, I finished it. It's my favourite. It's called Mirari. Looking back now, I don't like it, personally. I feel like it's the first pancake that you throw away. I like it, and I'm glad that I passed my course. It's completed, but I will be happy to see the back of it because it caused me a lot of stress. This one comes from Julia L. Do you dream of perfumes? I dreamt once I got prayed to God because I got attacked by a demon, and I swore not to use Florist London brand anymore. That is an seriously intense fragrance dream. I mean, I'm happy to dream about fragrance on the odd occasion that it happens, but that's like a very negative fragrance dream. The answer is yes, I do dream about fragrance, but not in that kind of respect. You also ask, did you try Lipstick Rose by Mel? It smells just like my mother's old lipstick. I used to borrow it as a child. Exactly, it's amazing. Yes, I have tried it. I have a sample of it, and I have been spraying it a little bit recently, actually. It is pretty cool, actually. I don't think I'd ever wear it, but I really appreciate the playfulness of it and how kind of fluffy, lipsticky rose it is. I wouldn't say that it smells exactly like lipstick, because, you know, I wear lipstick every day. But it has this really interesting character that is a kind of throwback, I think it's kind of burlesque, vintagey, rosy kind of smell, which is really cool. I will review it eventually. I just need time and space. These questions come from Mrs. Press. Hi Mrs. Press. How's Mr. Press? I speak to you all the time. I hope you're good. Let me give you a wave. So I'm gonna have to, your message is very long, I'm gonna have to kind of do through it. What was the first fragrance that made you excited about perfume? It all stems back to Shalimar by Geranium, that word that I hate saying. I smelled this fragrance a couple of times through my life when I was a child, when I was probably 10, when I was 16, when I was 21, and the third time that I smelled it on somebody walking past me, I ran after her in a shopping centre, a big mall place, because I couldn't let it pass me by once more. I ran after this lady, she was with her husband, I still remember it vividly to this day, and I said, please tell me what it is that you're wearing, and she told me that it was Shalimar, and it kind of sparked me to start smelling things, and it grew from there. So while I've always had an interest in fragrance, Shalimar was the signature one that kind of, I guess, sparked everything off. You also asked me, have you ever lost the ability to smell certain notes in a fragrance that you wore too often? I hope not. That's the thing, I hope not. I've definitely lost my smell once in one moment when I was training to kind of learn how to blend fragrances. I smelled black pepper oil too much in quick succession, basically, and I went completely nose blind by it, and the more I tried to smell it, the more my nose switched off, and I thought that I would never get my smell back ever again, and it was really, really scary. Oh my god, and your third question is about Shalimar. That's very strange. Okay, other than oud, what fragrance fads do you hope soon fade? There aren't any, really. It's really like a personal vendetta. It's only because I don't like oud that I hope that companies stop jumping on that bandwagon and everything stops smelling the same. The fact that loads of companies are putting oud in their fragrances, it's making it like a blanket. When it's got oud in the title or it's got oud in the ingredients, I just can't focus on anything else other than the oudness of it, and I just hope that it goes away because it's a very distinctive note, it's very pungent, it pretty much overtakes everything apart from one or two, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 fragrances that I've smelled where it's blended perfectly and it's an accent rather than a predominant note. So I hope that it goes away soon, I really do. Okay, this one comes from Lily White. Well, I say 3. If you could work for any of the big perfume makers, which one would you most like to work for and why? I can answer that one immediately because it would be Geworden. I actually applied to work for Geworden. When I finished my perfume course, I found out about a vacancy at this, huge company in Paris called Givaudan. They are the supplier and designers and things for so many more fragrances than you can ever imagine. They made Poison, they have made things for Tom Ford, they made Eternity by Calvin Klein. So what happens is they enlist perfumers to work there. You can start there as a junior and work your way up, which would have been a huge dream for me. I was willing to move to Paris and leave my life behind here, which is a really difficult decision, but I was ready to do it. I applied. Yeah, they have perfumers there that make fragrances, and then they go to the designers and then they choose them. So think of it as a massive thing like that. They made Eternity by Calvin Klein. So Calvin Klein gets all the credit, blah blah this, blah blah that. I mean, I might be getting my information mixed up here, but I researched the company a lot and I wanted to work for them. So, and I still want to work for them. And then you said, this one's going to scare me, what I've just read now. You said, if you could pick one member of the royal family and make a signature scent for him or her, who would you pick? Living or dead? And what would the notes be? That question is really cool, but I'm going to have to admit something right now. I am not the most patriotic, royal family loving English person. I went to the Queen's Jubilee, which was one of the best days of my life, actually. It was the best day. So fun. I don't think about the royal family that deeply, but if you're going to put me on the spot, I don't want to give an obvious answer. That would be really, really bad. I don't want to say the Queen or Diana, because, you know, Diana's the one that everyone loves, still loves. I'd have to go for one of the princes, I think, and it would have to be William, because, you know, let's face it, he's hot, and I don't know what I would make him. I would like to make him probably something that is floral, because when I think of English perfumes, I always go to flowers. I go to roses, I go to things like that. I would like to make him a masculine floral fragrance, or the ultimate rose fragrance for a man. I don't know what the rest would be, but that's the theme I'd go with. And then you asked me again as well, if you could make a signature scent for anyone famous, who would you pick and what would the notes be? I would love to scent David Attenborough. He's one of my idols. He kind of infuses my entire travel obsession with nature and smells, and he gets right into the depths of the earth. So I think he would be an amazing person to scent. Because he's been everywhere in the world, pretty much, and experienced most things that we would never get to see, I would love to have a consultation with him and ask him what he would like to be scented with. Which country, what notes, animal experiences. It would have to be something completely natural, no synthetics. It would have to be foliage. It would have to be animalic. It would have to be aquatic. It would have to combine every single fragrance category or olfactive group that you can think of, but still be harmonious and distinguished, because he's such a gent. Amazing. I love him. I wish he was my granddad. 3 questions left. Okay. This comes from Chilled Pint. Great. I'm drinking beer out of a wine glass. It's chilled though. What do you think of the Anik Monado creation, Bulgari Black, and why does it seem to have fallen off the map of fragrance or fragrance radar of the community? I'm not sure, you know, I've never smelled it. I've read a lot about it. It's the masculine, feminine, leathery, burnt tire type of fragrance. I've read so much about it, but I've never smelled it. I'm not sure why it's fallen off the fragrance radar. Has it fallen off of the radar? I'm not sure. I know that it gets a lot of attention because of its, you know, unusual tones and things like that, and the fact that it smells like burning rubber and things like that, but I'm just not sure. I've never smelled it. I really would like to though. They shouldn't discontinue things like that, because it's like a breakthrough of fragrance. Keep it going. The next one comes from Evil Dead. Ben, how are you? Old fragrant friend, I really hope you start a channel up again, because you were doing so well. Yay! Thanks for commenting, really, I do. And you said, ooh, question. Look at that teddy bear thing on your avatar. Anyway, ooh, questions. I'm wondering, out of all the things you smelled, essential oils, aroma chemicals, molecules, absolutes, etc., which are your favourites? I've started tinkering around again lately and I can't stop smelling orris and olibanum resinoid. Going through a massive incense fix. Whoa, you're going deep. You're going right into the core of the things. Evil perfume face. So many things have really struck me when I first started smelling things in their raw form. Galbanum was one that really took me by surprise. I mean, I've never smelled something so green in my life that wasn't oak moss. And it's so powerful. I ruined 20 things, 20, 30 blends by putting 1 drop of galbanum over than I should. It's the most vegetal, carrot peel kind of like thing that I just absolutely love. The other one is labdanum. It's the one thing that is really hard to describe in a review because it's never usually the most prominent thing, but it's used to create an ambery feel in a fragrance, but when you smell it on its own, it is truly enchanting. I still can't describe it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to say about it. It smells... I'm not even going to try. I can't. This next question comes from Stephanie Jackson. Please review some Chris Adams perfumes. Very inexpensive, made in United Arab Emirates. Got a feeling they may be very good. I lost my sense of smell mid-80s, but still remain a perfume addict. I rely heavily on your take of scents. Thank you. Stephanie, I'm not really sure what to say to that. That message kind of... I guess it hit me quite hard a little bit. You've lost your sense of smell. This is more than I ever expected. This is a lot for me to read. Here I go about my daily business, reviewing stuff and smelling beautiful things in the world. There comes sometimes when somebody sends me a message where I don't ever think outside of what this channel is, and you've lost your sense of smell hurts my heart a little bit. I mean, and the fact that you rely on me to describe things, I mean, that's... I really am taken aback by that question, and the answer is absolutely I will review those fragrances for you. I'll even do it privately, so I will just send me some requests of the things that you're interested in and I will do my best to find a sample, and yeah, I'll review them for you, okay? Okay, second to last question. Recovering from the last one. This comes from Misty. Let's say you have a time machine and can go back in time to be the nose of one of the big classics. Which one would you choose, and would you tweak the formulation to make it more to your liking? Such a cool question. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'll have to think about that one. Hang on, give me some time. I think I'm going to have to generalise it again and say that if they could make Chypre fragrances that didn't have oak moss in, I'd be happy. But let me be more specific, because that's a bit of a rubbishy answer. Bear with me. Does it count if I say that my mum's signature should not be reformulated? No, still a bad answer. I'm going to say no, because I think classics are classics for a reason. They shouldn't be changed at all. And I'm not playing the game. I should play the game on this question, but I'm going to take the high ground and say, if it's a classic for a reason, so no. I will think about that though when I go to sleep tonight. What would I change? Fun fact about Shalimar, did you know it was a mistake? I'm wondering if the guy that made that... No, why would he want to change it? Shalimar was a mistake, you know. It's essentially Mitsuko with a massive spillage of vanilla in it. I wonder if he's thinking that. I'm wondering if the creator of that is wondering that. Probably not, because it's one of the most best-selling fragrances in the entire world. No. I can't answer that. That's really difficult. And I haven't had time to prepare. This is off the cuff. I'm really sorry. Last question. It's been a long old ride. It's been emotional. Okay. This comes from Lukey Who One. I don't know. I can't pronounce the names right. I'm really sorry. I asked this on your Tom Ford Orchid Soleil review, but you posted this and it seems more apropos here. I love that word, apropos. Hey from the US, I was wondering if you had any thoughts about Comme des Garçons. Lots of thoughts. I heard of Daphne but can't find it anywhere. Do you know of anything similar? I have never smelled that fragrance before. I can't answer. I'm really sorry. Great way to end a video, ouch 110. That's a really bad way to end a video, but that is literally the last question I got asked. I've never smelled that fragrance. I don't know. Is it good? What is it? Daphne? Is it flowery? It sounds flowery. I'm not sure. Hopefully. Ooh, now I'm intrigued. Anyway, thanks in advance. I hope you're a subscriber that can help. I must smell this. P.S. I hope your neighbour cats can become friends. Oh, that's because recently there was a couple of cats out there that were fighting, like cat and cat. Thanks guys for watching. My voice gets really boring at times, but that's been emotional. It's been a long video. I'm sure it's going to be probably maybe 1, 2 or maybe 3 parts. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I love answering your questions. I'm not the guru knowledge of all things that are tree in nature, but I just like to share my experience and the knowledge that I have, which I think's subpar, but you know, at times fun. Anyway, I'm Matt 110. Come on over down there to subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon for another review. I'm going to go and watch Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events, because I read the books and it's just become available on Netflix, to my knowledge. So, I'm going to go. Bye. Love you guys. Bye.